Hi, and thanks for watching my video on the PHP explode function. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at data that comes in a certain way, but you may want it to display differently. And what I have right here is I have a database. This database has over 1 million doctors in it, and the names have come in a format of last name first, comma, first name, space, middle initial. That's not very useful to me or many of the methods that I use to display this information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this record here, Gregory M. Abbas, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to explode out the Gregory M part from the Abbas part, and then I'm going to separate the M from the Gregory so that I can use those independently. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and move my notepad over. Pardon my computer's sound effects. I just tried a different screensaver and it's doing all kinds of weirdness now. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to find where the code is that I put in there, if I can find it. Yeah, I had the wrong document open. Okay, so what we're looking for is the explode function, which is right here, explode field name. So what I've done is I've taken my field name, and my field name is MD name. That is the name because MD, I'm dealing with doctors. I have two record sets on this page. I have a record set that shows the detail page, and I have another record set that calculates distance of all of the people around. But for right now, we're just going to be concerned with the record set for the detail page itself. So we go down here to explode field, and what I'm doing is I'm giving this a variable of raw name, and the variable I'm assigning to what I want to explode, which is the name. That's what I want to take apart because that's got the comma and it's all capitalized, and we don't want that. So excuse me, what we're doing is we use the variable of raw data, MD name equals raw data. Now you could probably just put MD name in here, that would be fine. And then we are going to chunk that into pieces of the array, which is the 0, the 1, and you can go on down the line 2, 3, 4. But what I have is I have a comma as my separator. So it's D chunks, doctor chunks, or data chunks equals explode function, and then in parentheses you have two arguments. You have the thing you want as your separator, and in this case I have two separators, so I'm going to show you how I separate in two different ways. Alright, the first separator I have is a comma, so I want to separate on the comma, and I want to separate the raw data, which is MD name, which is my field name. So the output I'm putting into two variables, and the first variable is last name E, and the E stands for exploded in this case, and first name E, and the E stands for exploded. And I've named those variables, or yeah, those names are variables, and they equal DC chunks, or D chunks 0 and D chunks 1. And these are your broken down arrays. So now once I've taken these from there and put them into here, I can echo them out on the page as separated. Now in my other video, what I've done is I've gone ahead and changed the case. If you missed that video, go back and check it out. Alright, so in my case, what I need to do is I need to further expand on this. I could go with just the first name and last name, and what this allows me to do now that I've got these broken up is instead of last name comma first name, you'll see that in my detail page, let me go to a detail, I'm now able to move the first name to wherever I want it and the last name to wherever I want it. But now what if I want to explode it out even further? And for the purposes of changing the case, I have to use any space in order to change the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, I'm going to show you back here how I further explode this. Now the first name, last name is pretty much done. We don't really need to do anything with last name. And here's where I lowercase the last name and uppercase the words. Each word, first initial is uppercased. So now I've created a new variable, and I'm calling this variable middle initial, and that equals first name E, which is what we have already taken apart in this section up here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this argument, middle initial E, that is our second argument of the explode function. Our first argument is a space. You see, it's just a regular space, and then comma, and then our second argument, which is middle initial, and middle initial equals first name from up here. So it's not exactly middle initial, but we'll go with that. And we're calling this exploded variable chunks. And chunks number 1 and chunks number 2, there should be a chunks 0, but I don't know why that's not happening. Probably because I'm exploding something that was already exploded. But you can play around with these, go from 0 all the way up to however many you may have maximum. In my case, I'm going to have 2 parts of that first name, which is the first name and the middle initial. Now, I take those variables, I call that first name, and I call that middle E, and first name E and middle E, that's exploded. And now I can put these down where I am passing out my variables to different places. For example, a Google search, the variable on the Google search is going to pass the name, middle name, last name, address, state, zip code, etc. And I also have other places it passes that information. But where we're concerned with now is now I've broken it up into chunks where instead of having Abbas, comma, Gregory, M, I can put the Gregory in the beginning, the M in the middle, and the Abbas at the end. So that's how explode helps you out, because when you're starting with data that looks like this, and you need it to look like this, and you have a million records, it's not feasible to go through each and every one of them. Well, I hope this helped you out. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Thank you very much.